Hi, my name's Barbara Walters, and this is my life.
Hi, my name's Marvin Herbert, and this is my life.
I'm John Harding Jr. This is my life.
Hi, my name's Amaya Brown Senior, and this is my life.
Hi, my name's Stephen Wallace, and this is my life.
So tell me about the book, This Is My Life. What was the vision? How did it come about? What inspired it?
The vision, it probably initially came about from when I was quite young, when my best friend's mum, she was a foster carer, and that was my first experience of interacting with children who didn't live with their birth family. And that's what led me into my social work career. And fostering became my passion. Fostering in terms of like working with children who are looked after, and also I subsequently became a foster carer myself. So that I couldn't just, when I was training foster carers, I wasn't just talking from a theoretical perspective. I could walk the talk and say, I've had these experiences. I've been able to work directly with children who are not living with their family and understand a bit of what's important to them. I was very much aware that children who were looked after, because that's another term for being in care, didn't always have access to the reasons why they never lived at home and the reasons why they never, their parents weren't able to look after them. And so that's where the vision really started. And that's what led me to try and think of how can I help to develop a tool, a resource that could help a child to navigate their past experiences and feel better about themselves. Because I think low self-esteem is a common theme with children who have had care experiences. We can all have low self-esteem, and whether we've had care experiences or not. And that's why my theme for the book is also developed for children in care, but purchased by people who care. Yeah?
Well, we can go as deep as the main contributing factor that I believe set me on a path to madness, and it was getting caught shoplifting once. I got caught shoplifting and I got caught, and it was a packet of Wrigley spearmint gums and a Star bar, and I was from a family which was basically unconventional. It was unhinged. It wasn't the norm. My dad was a drug dealer. My mum was just a woman that just had fun. Our kids brothers and sisters was wild. And I got caught stealing Star bar and a Wrigley spearmint gum, and I got brought home believing that my mum and my dad would be happy with me, or be like, it wouldn't be a problem. But my dad burnt my hand like over a fire, and I can specifically remember the day or the minute and the rationale in my brain. I was thinking, like, you're burning my hand, like, you're my dad, like, why would you burn my hand? Why would you do this? Why would you do that? Why would you do? And I think that was the turning point psychologically for me, because that point then, even now, I've said that so many times, the emotion has gone out of it, because what I got overcome with was a burning passion of hate towards my dad. And that, I believe, is the one thing that pushed me towards the criminal fraternity and committing most of the acts I did as a young man.
Tell me some of those things that you did. Tell me about those.
Well, I basically done everything you could ever imagine to do with making money or generating money. So anything that created money, any thieving activities that rippled into money gratification or materialistic gratification, it was what I was obsessed by. I never had a birthday present or Christmas present I ever wanted. I never ate normal things like normal kids in normal houses. I was always the odd one out. And I felt, being the odd one out, I had to compensate by getting more and doing more.
Growing up, I was from African heritage, Sierra Leonean, and I was in a Jamaican-based, I would say, environment grew up in New Cross. So it was quite tough, you know, getting teased a lot as well. We're trying to fit in, so everything was just, I grew up always a fight. Everything was just a fight to be respected, a fight to just not get picked on. If you don't fight, you get picked on. So it was just a fight coming up, really.
I think growing up with 6 siblings was very hard. I feel like I'm the middle child. I've got 3 siblings older than me and 3 siblings younger than me. And I think it was very easy to not get forgotten about, but I feel like very easy to just be, I don't know, just there. And it does, like, sometimes as life has gone on, I've explained it like feeling like a ghost sometimes, because I live with my dad and my parents live separately, and it's a different experience living in both households and having like 5 siblings in one house and then 1 sibling in another house. Like, it's very hard.
So I grew up under a full care order. I went into foster care at the age of 3. I pretty much spent all my life, or all my young life, in foster care until my early teens, where I ended up going to prison. But growing up in foster care was a bit turbulent in terms of just a lack of supervision, a lack of everything. I moved from home to home every single year from the age of 3 until I was like 13. I was in a different foster placement in a different part of England. Yeah, no communication from my real family. Yeah, kind of didn't have good schooling, didn't really learn to read and write until I was like 19. Yeah, didn't leave school with any qualifications. Ended up going to prison and spending quite a few years in prison. Yeah.
Oh, the impact that my life has sort of, it's kind of weird, because the impact has taught me everything I know. So without the impact, I wouldn't know what I know. And what I do know is I can't be a criminal, and I can't be violent, and I've got to be nice, and I've got to be kind, and I've got to be selfless, and I've got to think of others, and I've got to do the right thing. And as silly as it sounds, for once in my life I feel free because of my traumas. So the traumas and the things that I've been through has helped mould me as a man.
For me, it shaped me to, when hard times come, I don't give up. Hard times come, I fight back. Hard times come, I just keep going, even when it's hard. So it just always prepared me for life's hard tests, because life will test you in many different ways. So I just felt that growing up in that difficult circumstance was just preparing me for how life is now.
It impacted me quite a bit. It set me back in terms of keeping up to where I should be, like where my friends had driving licenses, I didn't have a driving license, where people have jobs, I didn't have a job. I was constantly behind in terms of missing out on just having a stable upbringing. Even just understanding my journey was quite difficult in terms of just moving to home every year. The basic things that normal children should learn whilst living with their family, I didn't learn these things. I was too busy moving around different places, if that makes sense.
It's helped me to be more grateful, because I feel like I went through so much at such a young age, and only recently have become better at handling it. And it was really, really hard. And I feel like going through such hard experiences at such a young age helps you to be more grateful and more proud of yourself when you do little things in the future, because a couple of years ago you wouldn't have been able to do those things or to think you would have done those things?
If I'm being honest, I lost myself. I think you sort of get to a certain age, you get caught up in everybody patting you on the back for helping them be violent or creating money or doing things naughty. And it's, it don't last long. And you sort of, you notice it in the deepest, darkest times. And you notice the love, you notice the neglect, you notice the abandonment when people are not there when you need them. And when you really do need them, they've never been there. And that was the hardest thing for me to deal with, growing and transitioning into the man I've become. There's no real love on the road.
How has that shaped your current perspectives on young people in perhaps similar circumstances?
Yeah, it's made me very passionate about that kind of, about young people going through what I went through. So I've now started to do a lot of youth work, a lot of mentoring around trying to help people that are going through what I went through.
Did you have information about why you experienced the experiences that you experienced? Why were you moved so often, say, for instance?
No, I didn't have no information whatsoever. I was, in terms of, yeah, it was just move. It was just, one day there will be a meeting. Stephen, you do know this was a temporary placement. We've got a new foster placement for you now. And just moved again. And that happened quite often, like every year. Yeah, it would just be a new placement. No real explanation. It would just be, this was a short-term placement, so now it's time to move on. So yeah, there was no real, I think it was difficult for people to keep up with the amount of different placements. It was hard to keep up with, yeah, all my paperwork and records.
How has the lack of information and understanding, how has that affected you?
It made me very angry and bitter growing up. Like, for example, I never knew that my family was trying to reach out for me when I was younger. So I used to just feel like my family abandoned me, everyone disappeared. So it's like kind of me against the world kind of mentality. Had a lot of anger for everyone, especially authority figures. I felt like, yeah, they was to blame for everything. But I feel like that was a lack of understanding my journey, so that left me very bitter and angry.
Did you have access to all of your information growing up? Did you have access to all the experiences that you had? Was you able to access easily?
No, I couldn't access any experiences because experiences was in the present. So I wasn't able to access them only in my memories or you know, retelling a situation and people showing empathy towards the way I'm talking.
So what was the process of putting this book together?
What
was your aims and goals? What did you want people to take away from it when they were using it?
I want everybody to recognise how important it is to value yourself, regardless of whether you view those experiences as negative or positive. I want you to be able to have a resource that can help you to reflect if you need to reflect, but just to value who you are. Because even our so-called negative experiences, for me, they can turn out to be your superpowers. Those are what can help you to be who you are and to feel proud of whatever experiences that you have. And even if some of them, as I said, aren't as positive as we'd like them to be, but helping you to shape you to understand that we are all important, and all of whatever it is that makes us who we are, we need to be able to accept that and just move forward in a way that where you feel proud of yourself and where you want to go in the future. How does understanding your past help you to navigate your future?
Well, if I wasn't accountable for the person I was and the things that I've done and the places I've been, then I couldn't change the bad parts to become better or to go further. So I used to believe that I could do anything I wanted, talking how I wanted, speaking how I wanted, acting how I wanted. And then I realised that you can't do that. And it's the same principle as if you bring your girlfriend home to meet your parents and your girlfriend walks in the house and starts swearing, trying to roll a joint or trying to drink alcohol, and you're 16 or 15, you're going to panic because it's not the right behaviour for your parents. Whereas when I was growing up, I was just programmed negatively because of my environment, and I believe the environment and the experiences that I went through has helped me develop the more harmonious skills that I possess now to go on and be a better father, a better grandfather, just a better human being. And I get emotional when I say that because I feel bad, I feel embarrassed at the person I was because I wasn't nice. And I really wasn't a nice person. Although the street loved me, I wasn't a nice person. And it's coming to terms with that that I enjoy more than anything, that I can be a nice person. I can be a nice person now without fear of neglect, abandonment or shame.
Do you think that it's important for young people to have resources to help them to navigate their lives?
Well, it's more important sometimes than breathing air, because if you haven't got the network or the resources to assist you or advise you or signpost you to the right avenues to your destination, then you're meeting trauma, turbulence and chaos. Yeah, so it is vitally, equally important to have a network, positive mental attitude and a healthy lifestyle.
What about resources?
Well, that's what I said, the resources, healthy lifestyle and network are the three major things you need in life, but the resources are right, so you get yourself fit and healthy, right? Then you meet all the like-minded people and then you have the resources to achieve your goals. So it's all hand in glove. You know, it really is just hand in glove. So,
is there any, sorry, I'm going to rephrase this. You've seen the This Is My Life book. How do you think that that's helped you to kind of make sense of some of your experiences?
I feel like the This Is My Life book has helped me to make sense of some of my experiences through the journey section. There's a section where you map out your parents' journeys before it got to having you and your journey as well. And I feel like asking my mum and asking her about her journey really helped me to fix some of the negative sides of our relationship, because there was things that I didn't understand growing up and I thought the way she behaved wasn't okay necessarily. However, I feel like through asking her to explain her journey and talk to me about her life growing up and how things were for her before she had me has really helped me to have some sympathy and improve our relationship as a whole.
Do you think that having you've seen the This Is My Life book?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Do you think that having access to a resource like the This Is My Life book would have helped you to be able to collate some of those and structure some of your memories and experiences?
Definitely. Having a book like that, I think, will be essential for everyone, because it's almost like this is my life. I've got beginning, I've got what I'm doing, I've got my family history, and those are things that I had to go and start learning. Going back home, start learning my culture again, learning family members I didn't know, and to have a book like that. So I know one day we're all going to leave this earth, but to have it and it's passed on or etc. I think it's a great thing, a great important thing to have, similar to having an important thing, having a passport, having a license. I think one of those are important and a necessity to have in life.
Thank you. You've seen the This Is My Life book.
Yes, sir.
What do you think about that in terms of like helping young people to collate their memories in a way that values them also?
I think it's amazing in terms of just having, like when I was younger, there was attempts for me to put together scrapbooks and stuff, but because of how easy it is for stuff to drop out of it or just to misplace it, I feel like when I saw the book, it was just perfect in the way that it was presented, the leather casing, the zip up, how you can zip it away inside a case. And it's just a perfect template to document your journey of what you've been through. Also, it's perfect in terms of like putting your pictures in it, having different segments to put notes. It could be anything. Yeah, I think it's a perfect template.
Do you think that having a resource that could like help you to collate your experiences and make sense of them would have helped?
Most definitely, because most recently I've applied for my care records, which breaks down everything that I've gone through, explains why I went to care, and now I'm much less angry, or I don't hold so much resentment to some people, because now I know actually you did try to come and get me, you did reach out for me, but these things were suppressed in paperwork, so you don't really get to see it unless you have applied for your paperwork. So having something that can help you, a resource that can help you understand your journey would be amazing. It would have been great for me. I think I would have found myself a lot earlier in life if I had that resource from the beginning.
From your own struggles, how do you believe such a resource could positively impact someone else?
I feel like from, like I said, like struggling growing up with a lot of different things, as much as I wasn't in foster care, I feel like growing up around certain people who have been in foster care, and my dad being a foster carer himself, questions that they might have had, or just seeing how sad they are sometimes, and because they think that a lot of the time that their parents don't want to see them or don't want to spend time with them, having the experience of seeing them when they didn't show up to contact and stuff like that, it does hurt, and it is really sad to see, because I couldn't imagine a life like that. However, I feel like using this book, it really would help them to understand a lot more and be understanding of everyone else in the situation, because I feel like sometimes you don't realize what's actually going on with your parents as to why they can't look after you at the time. So I feel like using this book to find out about your parents' journey, find out about your journey, and just basically I feel like express yourself, because the book really helps to, the questions it asks, they really help to break down how you feel about yourself and how you feel about certain situations. And I think using it, especially once you're older looking back, I think it's a good resource to have to look back on and to understand once you're a bit older, to see like there's a reason for why everything happened. Because I feel like I wish I had something like that as a child, because I used to just look at photo albums, but a photo album doesn't really explain much. It's fun, but it doesn't really, it's just pictures. Having the writing and having the memorabilia pockets and all of that, it does feel like you. It feels like, oh, I remember when I wrote this. I remember this picture. I remember, not necessarily your birth certificate, but like little pieces of information that you might not have remembered without it, or might not have just remembered through a picture.
Reflecting on your journey, what would you say to the youth of today in terms of like being able to really focus on their future?
To focus on the future, it all depends on what they're doing right at this present now, and that's going to reflect on the future. And I always can say, follow your dreams, do what you would do as if you weren't getting paid for it out of love, whether it was dancing, whether it was rapping, whatever it is, and do it out of the love, and the money will come with it. So I would say just to pursue their dream and start from now.
If someone says to you, I can't because I've suffered so much trauma that I can't achieve what I want to achieve, what would you say?
I would say remove the T from the can't and say I can, because that trauma, what you've gone is your petrol in your vehicle to go towards your dream. Do you know what I mean? Any time for me, what kept me going was hard times. I'll think of something that was painful. Oh, this is the reason why I need to keep going. This is the reason why I can't stop. This is the reason why my situation or my parent is not here or whatever. That's why I've got no option to keep on going. I think that how life should be, or how people should view life, is through a different lens. That when difficulty comes, it's your fuel to use to motivate you.
And do you think that the This Is My Life resource could help them to use that as their fuel by understanding their past?
Yeah, definitely, because for me now, if I felt a bit comfortable, to keep motivation is very hard. To be motivated is to say, to do what you said when that feeling left you. Because I can feel, yeah, I'm motivated today, but then tomorrow that feeling's left me. Am I still? So I might use that book. For me, I always need something. So I might look at a book and it might have a hard time. This is for me. And I remember that I've got to keep going. I can't stop. You know what I mean? So I think, it is valuable.
How can people access the This Is My Life book? And is it only for children in care?
Like I said, I'll go to the is it only for children in care first? 100% not. There are so many children and young people, there are so many even adults who I think this book would really, really be a valuable resource. And there's so many children who, whether they've had care experiences or not, who have had experiences that they perhaps don't understand and they need to be able to try to make sense of. And so I think it's a tool for all of us, really do. It can be accessed on the This Is My Life website. It can also be accessed not on the high street. If not many people I'm not sure if everybody knows about the website Not on the High Street, which is it's a website for unusual items. And so it can be accessed both of those ways, but it's for everybody, it's for all of us. I think every child should have one, and go back to my strapline, if you like, developed for children in care, but purchased by people who care. So if you've got children, buy it. If you haven't got children, buy it for your nephew, buy it for your niece, buy it for yourself. And, try to look back on your past and work through, navigate your future and be the best you can be.
Beautiful. So there's people who already use this book and they said it's helped them. How does that make you feel, knowing that something that you thought of has, impacted and helped so many people already?
One of the things that I didn't say is that I co-developed this book with my daughter, who I looked after from the age of 8. And the reason why I'm saying that at this point is because I know that creating this book together was not just a wonderful thing to do, but it also was a real bonding thing for Paige and I to kind of like, we had more than one bonding moments going back through the development of the book and working through some of her experiences. And so, yeah, it makes you feel good. I like the fact that this isn't just a tool, it's not just a book, it's a tool that can really help people. And if I'm getting the feedback that's saying, yes, this has helped, then I know that I've done the right thing and I feel proud of what I've done.
Last question. What would you say to people who are considering purchasing the book but they're on the fence? What would you say to get them to buy the book?
Do you know what? We spend so much money on foolishness every single day. This is a one-off purchase of, I think, £30-something that could help you to totally change your future or change your child's future. I'm saying don't delay, get it now. That's what I would say. It's an investment worth buying.
Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you.